Flames tore through the sky as the mining station drifted apart in silence. In the middle of the wreck, a human dropship punched through clouds of smoke. Inside, Captain Jack Callan gripped the controls so tight his gloves cracked. The cockpit shook with every hit. Red lights flashed over his visor. He didn't flinch. His comm officer shouted over the static. "We're losing power to the right engine." Jack didn't look up. "Keep it steady. We're not leaving those people to die." Below them, the station's outer ring burned like a dying star. Alien ships, black and sharp, circled it like vultures. Their cannons sliced through escape pods. No warning shots, no mercy. Every blast painted the metal walls red. The ship's gunner yelled, "Captain, the pirates are locking missiles." "Then hit them first," Jack said. The dropship spun under fire. Gunfire ripped through space. Jack dove between wrecks, scraping the hull on twisted beams. The gunner's turrets came alive, cutting one alien fighter in half. Another exploded near the reactor core, shaking everything. Jack's heart pounded. He could feel every sound through his chest. His crew had been fighting for hours, running on fumes. Still, he pushed forward. On his screen, a cluster of heat signatures blinked near a damaged hangar. Survivors. "Found them," he said. "Prepare to drop." The ship hit the hangar floor hard. Smoke filled the air. Jack ripped his harness loose and grabbed his rifle. His boots hit metal. The hangar lights flickered, broken. Shadows moved between flames. A dozen civilians crouched behind cargo crates, eyes wide with fear. A man in a miner suit stepped forward. "You came back, we thought." "Save it," Jack said. "Get everyone to the ship." He motioned to his second-in-command, Cole. "Cover the rear, we're leaving in 60 seconds. Then came the sound Jack hated most. Alien boots. Metallic, fast, closing in. A squad of pirates charged through the wrecked door, weapons glowing. The first blast hit a crate, throwing a civilian down. Screams filled the hangar. Jack raised his rifle and fired. Each shot was sharp and fast. He moved low, efficient, every motion clean. Cole tossed a grenade. The blast lit the room white. Bodies flew. Smoke rolled through the hangar like a wave. When the firing stopped, half the pirates were down. The rest retreated. Jack didn't chase. He turned to the civilians. "Move now." They ran, stumbling through debris. Cole covered the path with short bursts. The dropship's engines roared. The sound gave Jack a second of hope. Then Cole fell. A shot hit him from behind. Jack spun, firing back, hitting the alien who fired. Cole dropped his rifle, blood on his armor. Jack reached him. "Don't you quit on me." Cole smiled weakly. "We got them out, didn't we?" Jack didn't answer. He just lifted his friend and carried him into the ship. The hatch sealed. The dropship lifted from the hangar. Below, the station cracked open as its reactor blew. Fire spread through the sky like lightning. Inside the cockpit, Jack laid Cole down. His breath faded. Jack sat still, staring at the broken stars outside the window. His hand shook once, then stopped. The comm officer whispered, "Captain, we're clear. We made it." Jack looked out at the burning wreck below. "No," he said quietly. "Not yet." A bright light flashed across the sky. A shadow covered the stars. A massive, unknown ship appeared from the void, silent and black. Then a beam of energy cut through their engines. The controls died. Gravity vanished. The ship fell into darkness. Smoke filled the cabin as the dropship spun out of control. Jack gripped the console and tried to restart the engines. Sparks jumped across the controls. The power was gone. The crew shouted behind him, their voices sharp with fear. The ship fell toward a gray planet covered in clouds. "Brace!" Jack yelled. The impact hit like a hammer. The hull screamed and tore as the dropship slammed through the trees and crashed into the dirt. Everything went silent. For a moment, there was only the sound of burning metal. Jack's head throbbed. He unbuckled and pushed open the cracked hatch. Cold wind rushed in. The planet's surface stretched under a dark sky, filled with fog and glowing storms in the distance. The smell of ash hung in the air. He turned to his crew. Some were alive, some weren't. He checked each face. The comm officer's arm was broken. The gunner coughed blood. Jack said nothing. He just helped them out one by one. They built a small camp near the wreck. The ship's hull still burned. Jack moved through the debris, gathering supplies, fixing what he could. His hands were steady, but his mind was racing. He replayed the blast in his head again and again. That weapon wasn't alien pirate tech. It was something new. Cole's death still sat heavy in his chest. He kept seeing the moment his friend fell, the sound of that shot, the look in his eyes. Jack had been in wars before, but not like this. This one was personal. At night, the fog thickened. Strange lights flickered across the valley. Distant sounds echoed. Metal steps, low engines, movement that didn't belong to the wind. The crew tightened the perimeter. Jack barely slept. By dawn, they were already arguing. The comm officer, Ramirez, said, "We're stranded. If we don't send a signal, we're dead in a week." Jack answered flatly, "No signal, not yet." She frowned. "Why? Someone could pick us up, or whoever hit us could find us first." The silence after that said everything. They worked quietly. Jack searched the wreck again and found something lodged in the rear frame. A small metal shard, no larger than a coin. It blinked once with a faint red light. His jaw tightened. A tracker. He called the crew over. "This was inside the ship." Ramirez stared. "That's human tech." Jack didn't move. Someone put it there before launch. The crew exchanged glances. Fear turned into suspicion. One of them whispered, "Someone sold us out." Jack shut them up with one look. "We find answers before we make guesses." He walked away and sat near the wreckage. His thoughts burned. Someone had led the alien straight to them. Someone wanted him dead. He had to know who. Hours later, as they worked on patching power to the dropship systems, motion sensors picked up movement in the trees. Ramirez went pale. "Contacts, 30 meters out." Jack grabbed his rifle. "Positions." They spread out behind wreck parts and waited. Shapes moved through the fog. Tall, armored, fast. Alien scavengers. Their armor pulsed with blue light and their weapons hummed low. Jack signaled to hold fire. The aliens moved closer, scanning the wreck, unaware of the humans watching. When one of them stepped over Cole's body, Jack fired first. The fight was fast and brutal. Muzzle flashes tore the fog apart. Aliens fell, their blood bright against the mud. One tried to flank, but Jack's shot dropped it mid-sprint. Then one alien threw something small and round. It landed near the wreck and pulsed red. "Grenade!" The explosion threw Jack back into the dirt. His ears rang. He lifted his head to see one alien still alive, crawling, leaving a trail of glowing blood. It hissed something in its language, words he didn't understand, but the tone was clear. It was laughing. Jack stepped closer and kicked its weapon away. "Who sent you?" he asked. The alien grinned with broken teeth. "Human did." Jack froze. The alien went still. His hand tightened on the rifle. Behind him, the crew stared in silence, their faces pale under the dim light. From the trees, a new light flickered. Bright, mechanical, cold. A ship was landing nearby. Not alien. Human design. The new ship broke through the clouds, thrusters cutting deep into the mud. The noise shook the valley. Jack raised his rifle but didn't fire. The landing gear sank into the dirt, steam hissing around it. The ramp opened. Men in black armor stepped out, weapons ready. Human soldiers. Jack and his crew stayed low behind the wreckage. He watched their movements. Everything about them was too clean, too controlled. They weren't a rescue team. Ramirez whispered, "That's Earth tech, but those markings, I don't know them." Jack scanned their armor. The insignia was wrong. No known division, no broadcast codes. Ghost unit. He stepped from cover, rifle up. Identify yourselves? The lead soldier turned, visor reflecting the firelight. Captain Jack Callan, you're coming with us. Not until you tell me who you work for. The soldier didn't answer. His weapon lifted a little higher. Jack didn't blink. The air between them felt like a loaded gun. Then, without warning, both sides opened fire. The first blast cut through a tree beside Jack. He hit the dirt, firing back. The crew spread out, returning shots from every angle. The valley lit up with gunfire. Aliens and humans had fought him before, but this felt different. These men knew his tactics. A flash grenade went off. The white light blinded him. He rolled behind a broken engine, breathing hard. His mind worked fast. The only humans who could fight like that were trained by command forces. Someone from his own ranks had sent them. He shouted to Ramirez, "Fall back to the ridge." She nodded and dragged the gunner with her. The survivors ran under fire. Jack covered them, hitting 2 soldiers in the chest. Their armor sparked but held. He switched to burst fire and aimed for the joints. The third one dropped. As they reached the ridge, the wrecked dropship exploded behind them. The fire reached the fuel cells. The blast sent heat rolling over their backs. They hit the ground and kept moving through the fog. When they stopped, Jack checked ammo and looked down at the valley. The soldiers were searching the wreck, methodical, calm, hunting. The explosion hadn't slowed them. Ramirez caught her breath. "They came for you, didn't they?" Jack didn't answer. His eyes stayed fixed on the smoke below. "They're not after all of us. Only me." She frowned. "Why?" He didn't know, but the thought burned. He'd fought for Earth's fleets for years. He'd won battles no one else would touch. But after what he saw in the outer colonies, after the orders he refused to follow, maybe Command decided he knew too much. The crew waited in silence. Distant thunder rolled across the clouds. Lightning flashed over metal ruins. The planet felt dead. Jack stood and checked his weapon. "We move east. There's an old relay station marked on the scan. If we can reach it, we'll send a signal to the resistance fleet." They moved fast through the dark terrain, keeping low between rocks and trenches. The fog grew heavier. Strange shapes shifted inside it. Every sound made their fingers tighten on the triggers. When they reached the relay, it was worse than Jack expected. The building was half buried, walls torn apart, antennas bent. He sent Ramirez to restore power while he and 2 others covered the perimeter. Something moved inside the broken doorway. Jack aimed his rifle. A shadow stumbled out. It was a man, half burned, wearing a torn uniform. Human. He looked up, eyes wide. "You have to destroy it," he said weakly. Jack caught him before he fell. "Destroy what?" The man's hand trembled as he pointed to the relay. "They're using it. It's not a relay anymore. It's theirs." Before Jack could ask, a low hum started from the building. The ground shook. The old station lit up with blue lines crawling through the walls, glowing like veins. Ramirez yelled, "Jack, it's powering up on its own." The wounded man grabbed Jack's arm, voice breaking. "You don't understand. It's a signal weapon. It calls them here." Jack turned toward the glow. The light was spreading fast across the ground, reaching the sky. He looked at Ramirez. "Shut it down now." Her voice cracked through the comm. "I can't. It's locked." The signal burst from the tower in a column of blue light. In the clouds above, something massive began to move. The sky tore open. The blue beam from the relay hit the clouds and split them apart. A shape appeared above the planet, dark and massive. It wasn't alien or human. It was something between, built from both. Its surface moved like metal alive, changing form with every flash of light. Jack watched it rise, his hand clenched around his rifle. Ramirez backed away from the console, her face pale. "Whatever that thing is, it's reading our biosigns." The wounded man on the ground whispered, You called it here. You brought the Ark." Before Jack could answer, the air pressure dropped. The ship above began to pull debris upward. The ground cracked, rocks lifted, trees snapped and flew into the sky. The crew grabbed onto anything they could find. Jack held a support beam as the wind roared around them. Then the pull stopped. The Ark hung above them in silence. A small craft detached from it and descended, fast and steady. It landed near the ruins, throwing dust into the air. The hatch opened. A figure stepped out wearing armor made from the same shifting metal. It spoke with a calm, human voice. "Captain Callan, you should not have survived." Jack aimed his weapon. "You're human." The figure tilted its head. "I was, before the Ark found me." The crew circled behind Jack. Ramirez whispered, "What is that?" "Something that forgot what side it's on," Jack said. The armored man raised a hand. The ground under Jack's feet vibrated. His rifle jammed, locking up completely. He threw it aside and drew his sidearm. The man didn't flinch. "You're still fighting for a world that already sold you out," he said. "The Earth Command sent me to erase everything you know." Jack took a step forward. "Then you can tell them they failed." He fired 3 times. The shots hit, but the armor rippled and absorbed the rounds. The man moved faster than human reflex. He grabbed Jack by the throat and slammed him against the relay wall. The air left Jack's lungs. Metal shards cracked the stone behind him. Ramirez fired from the side. The bullets sparked against the enemy's armor. He turned, throwing Jack aside like nothing. She ducked behind a console and hit the power grid. Sparks flew as the relay overloaded. The lights turned red. The hum of energy filled the air. Jack pushed himself up, gasping for air. He looked at the power cables snaking across the floor. An idea hit him. He shouted, "Ramirez, overcharge the core." She hesitated. "It'll blow the whole station." "Do it." The armored man charged forward, fast and silent. Jack ran toward him, drawing the knife from his belt. They met in the middle. Metal clashed. Sparks burst between them. The man hit harder, but Jack was faster, unpredictable. He fought with rage and precision. His knife slid between armor plates, cutting flesh beneath. The man growled, voice breaking for the first time. The relay's hum grew louder. The walls shook. Ramirez yelled, "It's about to go critical!" Jack head-butted the armored man and kicked him back into the glowing core. The man hit it hard, electricity crawling over his body. He screamed, his armor melting and fusing to the machine. The light from the core turned white. Jack grabbed Ramirez and ran. The rest of the crew followed, stumbling through smoke and debris. The explosion tore through the building behind them, throwing fire into the sky. They hit the ground outside, covered in dust and heat. The arc above flickered. Parts of it dimmed like dying lights. For a moment, Jack thought it was over. Then the clouds split again. From the wrecked relay, the same white light poured upward, sharper and faster. It didn't die. It grew. Ramirez turned to Jack, her voice shaking. "It's not stopping. It's calling more of them." Jack looked up. Across the sky, new shapes appeared in orbit. Dozens, maybe hundreds. He stood slowly, breathing hard. "Then we stop it at the source." The wind carried the sound of engines. Behind them, the black-armored soldiers were returning, moving through the fog toward their position. Rain began to fall as the soldiers closed in. Their armor gleamed under flashes of lightning. Jack and his crew hid among the rocks, soaked and silent. The air smelled like smoke and ozone. Engines roared above them as the Ark's drones swarmed through the clouds. Ramirez whispered, "We can't fight them all." Jack checked his rifle. "We won't. We're going straight for the Ark." The crew stared at him. The idea sounded insane. The Ark was miles above the surface and shielded by layers of weapons. But Jack didn't flinch. He looked at the wreck of the armored man they had fought. His armor still pulsed faintly, alive even after death. Jack crouched beside it and ripped out the chest plate. "We use their tech. It's linked to the Ark." He handed it to Ramirez. "Get it working." She hesitated. "That could kill you." He looked at her, calm and cold. "Then, make it quick." They worked in the rain, stripping wires and fusing circuits. The ground shook as more enemy troops landed nearby. When the chest plate finally powered on, Jack strapped it to his armor. Blue light crawled across his chest, spreading to his helmet. The energy bit into his skin, but he stayed still. Ramirez said quietly, "You can't win this alone." Jack gave a small nod. "I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to finish." He ran into the storm, straight toward the soldiers. Gunfire followed. He moved fast, every step pushing against the mud. The alien energy in the armor reacted to his movement, creating a shimmer around him. Bullets slowed or deflected. He reached the first soldier, grabbed his rifle, and broke it across his faceplate. The man fell, lifeless. Jack kept moving, cutting through the line with violent precision. The energy inside the armor pulsed brighter with every strike. It was feeding on him, but he didn't care. He could feel the arc signal inside his head, pulling him upward. "Jack," Ramirez said through the comm, "I found a way to use the armor's link. It can teleport you straight to the arc's core. Do it. Once I send you, I can't bring you back. Send me anyway." A bright flash hit. The world bent and snapped. Jack fell onto metal. The air was thick and hot. He stood in a wide corridor lined with black walls that moved like liquid. The ark was alive, and it knew he was there. Voices whispered in his head, not words, only noise. The walls shifted, forming figures, faces of people he had lost. He ignored them and pressed forward. His boots hit metal grates. The floor pulsed with light beneath him. At the end of the corridor, he saw it. The ark's core, a sphere of light and movement, full of power. Cables ran from it like veins, spreading across the structure. Inside the glow, a shape floated. A human body fused with machinery. It was the same soldier he had killed, reborn through the ark. The voice spoke again, louder now. "You can't destroy what you are part of. Humans built this." Jack lifted his rifle. "Then I'll end what we started." He fired into the core. The blast tore through the chamber. The ark screamed. The walls cracked, spilling white fire. Energy wrapped around him, burning through his armor. He fell to one knee but kept firing until his weapon melted in his hands. He reached for the knife at his belt and slammed it into the power conduit. The room exploded in a storm of light. His body was thrown back. Everything went silent. When he opened his eyes, he was floating. The ark was breaking apart. Pieces drifted into space, burning. Below him, the planet glowed red. His comm came alive. Ramirez's voice cut through static. "Jack, the ark is falling apart. You did it." He breathed slowly. Not yet. Something still inside it. In the distance, through the cracks in the ark's hull, he saw another ship emerge from the darkness. Bigger, older, human-made. Its signal read, "Earth Command."